Hello, welcome to today's analysis of the NQ and a little bit of related markets. It's been a while since I've done any TA, but I am back. I was away for a while, but now I'm back. I'm back home and I'm ready to get into some trading and take a look at what's happening. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. It's Monday. It's Monday, the 1st of September. Very nice, clean slate kind of feeling. Let's see what we have to work with. I'm going to do some analysis of maybe up to kind of 4 hour. Briefly, might touch on larger time frame stuff, but I'm going to stick to kind of midterm stuff and then maybe look at today. But today we have a holiday in the US, so don't know what that's going to look like. Sometimes it's just a big move at the beginning and then it kind of just fizzles out. And sometimes, you know, depending on the situation, and I mean it's a Monday and it's the start of a new month, so there could be some kind of volatility, maybe from positioning and stuff. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's have a look. So where do we start? I'll explain what I have at the moment marked up. Let's take a look at the 45. So what's happened? Okay, overall, we have come back in kind of around the 20th of August. We tapped into kind of external, relatively, well, so we have this largest external push down, which was from the 1st of August. We broke structure up on our midterm, which is this little squid, little purple thing, is midterm. We pushed up and then had a large push down back into structure, hit liquidity here, changed character around here, and then just at the end of the month last week we tapped this little external liquidity point and had a rather quick swipe of this range. I was looking for longs as long as they stayed kind of within these pulls, and I knew that, you know, they could obviously come for this, but once they take this, I have a bit more caution with what kind of pulls I'm interacting with. Now, we didn't get any closes below this point here, but you know, we are widening things out, and this, even just a small tap of this, we have to wait for some kind of confirmation before obviously we wait for confirmation, but I would like to see big structural breaks here before I take into account, you know, taking this high or even coming back up into this little mitigated area. But yeah, anyway, let's take a look. Let's zoom in. This break of structure is technically gone, but we didn't get a close down here, so they could just mess with like liquidity for a while. Tapping this low was interesting. We did it on Asia, in Japan did it. Whether it means they want to come deeper into this kind of supply or demand area down here, or they just want to hang around in here and build both sides, obviously I have no idea. We definitely have a candidate for an internal retracement up here as well. They've kind of set up both sides. Right now, I think liquidity-wise, a push up is maybe a bit easier. It's kind of the current path of least resistance, I think. So if we just zoom into the 24, because it was 1 pip of liquidity taken here, and then we immediately changed character, You know, I am going to play the very short-term bullish idea, but being aware that this is technically a mitigation of this fair value gap. Okay, so let's have a look. What does that mean? I have an FEG here. It's a 12-minute, but there is technically, you could also say, if a 2-hour or so fair value gap from this low here to the wick of this. We could say that this is a gap. We seemed to tap it, which led to the kind of external swipe, I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it external swipe, even though, yeah, it is technically, you know, with these kind of moves here. Let's say, for example, what if I wanted to do this, and I wanted to say, yes, this is external liquidity taken. Well, really, for that to be proven to me, I want to see this mitigation be tested and get closes above it. But for now, because we're trapped in between kind of this bearish break of structure, change of character, and this potential external liquidity grab, I would play the liquidity fuel of a move up back into here, but be aware that any internal kind of pulls can take over, and we can just keep hitting bids into this zone. So it's a bit mixed at the moment, but we have this potential mitigation here. Let's say it's a 2-hour mitigation, or a tap of an FEG. I call it mitigation. I don't even know if that's the right word for it, but I think this is a mitigated gap, as far as I know. Please tell me if I'm wrong, but that's what I'll call it. It's a tapped gap. Now, we still have this zone above, which I like a bit more for actual potential little redistribution in here, if we get there. But right now, we're trapped in between kind of these two Tokyo points, actually, yeah. So it just depends what side they want to swipe first. We have obviously volume gaps above us. They like to come into there, especially with thin books. Maybe a thin book will, because of the holiday, will allow them to get some volatility into this zone without affecting structure too much, potentially. But if we zoom down into, let's say, the 12-minute, we do have this change of character. We have this little break of structure here. It was created on UK. Very, very slight. The way they played with liquidity inside here, it's not amazing for holding, like, let's say, a long into US. But it, you know, they could just forget about it, swipe up for US, and then pull it back down. I don't know, but this area here is definitely kind of ripe for swiping. I don't know when they're going to do it, obviously, but it seems like it could. But I also do just see, because of the fact of money flow, absorption into this zone, with the divs that we got, definitely could see us maybe even just swipe this. And, you know, they could do something like that, which is just opening out the range, you know, even bring it down, and then, you know, something like this. They could play around with it because of the pulls that we are experiencing. We reacted off a much greater bearish pull, but also we're in a pretty strong uptrend. And now, right now, we're just in between those two pulls. Now, below us, obviously, we have a lot of vector recovery. We have lots down here. But for now, because of the signs of absorption I got here, I could see a retracement, a very cheeky push back into this drop, to then maybe play around some demand levels. We have a past daily VWAP down here. We do have liquidity down here. This was a money flow hidden div on this point, which this actually then dived again. So there's definitely absorption going on between these two lows. I wouldn't shy away from just letting this play out, see what kind of absorption we get above us. There's, you know, high volume nodes here, anchored VWAP, bearish VWAP up around this 12-minute fair value gap. You know, we can come into here and not actually affect much. I could see us get absorption around here and then pull back and then see what they do from there. Now, if price does just push up past this mitigation, because there is an RTH gap up here, up at 23,700. If price does want to pull back up into this, you know, that would be very, very wide kind of range being created, and I'll see what happens then. But look, for now, I saw signs of absorption below. I would take kind of controlled longs, and you know, because of this potentially external swing fail of that low, yeah, I would just be careful. Be careful if you're going to be, you know, shorting too early or whatever. It's the start of the week and start of a new month. It might just be best to allow them to paint the picture of the liquidity zones. Now, if we did come up and start closing above here, if we started closing above here, because this is external, I would be careful. I just wait for a nice consolidation, wait for a clear, maybe liquidity point being hit, or, you know, obvious absorption. Because if they gain footing around here and start taking liquidity to the downside and pushing up and up and up, we could just come for this gap, this RTH gap up here. So what does that mean? I mean, locally we're bullish, but cautiously bullish because of the nested downtrend that we're in, like this. You know, this looks like a controlled push down, but when is that controlled selling done? You know, don't know. Could it be now? Could, but there are things below us. We have a little block down here, but I'm not too huge on it. I mean, it could get a reaction, but I don't. These kind of blocks with no immediate liquidity points above them to swipe into. You know, with this potential kind of like absorption play that's going on here, or you know, we have a low and then we have a low here. What if they do another low in here, a low in here, a low in here? You know, they're just really playing. They could really be playing this demand area and induce hit bids, induce hit bids, induce hit bids. And I mean, you know, I would wait for this area down here, like 23,100, 22,200 to get swiped if they started doing that. We're definitely getting a little push up here now. We're below this anchored VWAP, this bullish anchored VWAP. It was hit really strongly. You know, we had a swipe, big push up on Sydney, back down into it, potentially hitting external liquidity around these huge anchored VWAPs. I believe they come from where are they? It's this guy. It's a bit old, isn't it? Okay. I'd imagine if I brought it down though, it wouldn't change much. You'd be wanting it from here, right? This is the liquidity point. Let's see if that makes a difference actually. Let's go back into the 24. I mean, no, it didn't. We're still playing around these huge anchored VWAPs. It did put this band a bit higher though, but definitely could get absorption around here. We have very, very small internal liquidity grab here on the NQ, which allowed for this push up. So we are dealing with this kind of liquidity pool right here. So you could say that this is internal liquidity taken onto the top. You could. We're building a lot of liquidity here, but this was a break of structure, and because this was a little mitigation and we got some closes above it, I could definitely see some, you know, upside being taking some more upside, some more violent pushes into this area, or as I said, even having a very cheeky swipe of Japan's high. The problem is we are trapped between two Japan points. So, you know, they could come for either. We have a lot of vector recovery here, but this was a very large gap up. This was a nice big push up. We have a point of control down here. It's not necessarily naked, but you know, there's a point of control down here. But coming down here, that would be some, you know, interesting PA. I'd have to wait and see what they do with that, because interacting with this gap is a bit of a, I don't know, bit of a no-go for me. Yeah, so right now, I mean, I think I said everything. We are kind of getting absorption into here. We got internal absorption here. The start of this is this little mitigation point down here at UK open. So we can see if that holds. Yeah, potentially a clip coming in on the 45. We'll have to see. You know, we are in volume gap at the moment. They could fill up in here, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Yeah, RTH gap above us. Technically, RTH gap way below us as well, down at like 23K. So to be aware of that, for sure. We could come for either. Money flow was coming out on the lower time frames, which makes me think that they could just pull this kind of absorption play that I was kind of talking about, like hitting bids and just having this kind of downtrend. You know, let's say they did absorb around here, hit something small, and then just kind of do this kind of thing. I could see that happening as well, for sure. But let's see. Let's see what's going on. We are in a bullish continuation model for myself now. I have a little mod. I don't have them open, but I have a model that kind of backs up the fact that this is somewhat of bullish continuation. But US is going to be coming in soon, and they do like to. They bring the volume. They bring the heat. So let's see which side of this holds. But yeah, that's it for me today. I'm going to see what they do. It's the start of a month, so I'm going to take it easy. Let them mark out some ranges and zones to interact with. You know, if something you can't see something clear and it's too big picture, you can play the big picture, or you can just let them build the supply and demand zones that you want to work off. Smaller time frame trades until something is very clear to you, you know. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope this helped a small bit. We'll see what they do as the month goes on, the week goes on, the month goes on, because it can become clearer, you know. So yeah, let's have a look. Happy trading, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.